Hello, Olivier here, without the sir. Must remind myself to write to Lizzie, Queen Elizabeth II, as I affectionately call her, to put me on the sir list. Sir Olivier, that would sound nice. Just kidding. Here, I want to show an example of hopefully what will be a squeeze break. You can see here where the indicator is blue, we're in a squeeze on the 5-minute chart on the euro, and in 3 minutes we have an FOMC member, Meissner speaking, and in 48 minutes we have the FOMC member Rosenberg speaking. So let me pause for a while and see what happens. Normally when you get a squeeze like this, you get either a break up the upside or a breakdown downside. Now, difficult to tell which way it's going to go. Usually you would look at things like divergence on the RSI, which I'm seeing as indicating a downside, but that's, 5-minute charts, so it could be, quick up, quick down, and these, I don't know how important these speakers are. So we shall see, and I'll get back to you when the action works. Okay, here we are 1 minute before the Fed speak, not much movement yet. Well, here we are 2 minutes into the speech. They're all brain dead so far, so I don't know if these speakers are important. I'm not sure what they're saying yet. I haven't seen anything come through. So we'll still wait. We'll see. We've got a bit of a slight upward, if I look at the 1 minute chart, bit of a slight upward. But what you want to do in a squeeze is get either, a movement, a breakout of the Bollinger and the Keltner bands, which have now minimized themselves, okay? The real definition of a squeeze is a 6 months low of bandwidth. But, if you do that, you're going to be waiting a long time. So I just wait for this indicator here to go blue, indicating a squeeze. Slightly on the upside now. We've got slight upside movement. But nothing is sure yet. So we'll wait a little bit more until he speaks a bit more. Okay, now we're seeing a bit of a downward movement as the RSI divergence earlier predicted. It's just crossed the 2 deviation band, and it's going to my optimized band, optimized with a black box. That's that green band. If we break below it, okay, two things, often, since the bands are not very wide, I don't recommend using the black box in that case. You won't lose much because it can play up and down in the squeeze. I mean, there was a lot of debate for me whether to just stop completely the black box during the squeeze, and I studied that and decided to leave it on because the losses are minimal. So it gets stopped out if it's going the wrong way, but often it could be going the right way. And the other what we call a breakout, okay, a way of using a squeeze, the only time you can use a breakout on bands is, I have a breakout EA, which I could give you. It's also in the scalper module. Basically, you name the number of bands that break. See, right here, we're going to start breaking now. If we close below this band, you could use a 2 band. Let's say it closes here. You can name the number of bands afterwards. There you go. So you got a second one here. So normally, if you're using the 20 and the 2 deviation, this would be, you would start putting in here a sell, okay, a short on the euro, hoping to grab a few pips on a nice move down here. If it doesn't happen, we basically will get stopped out. So this is a squeeze, really. We haven't had large movements. It's not a very good example so far. So we'll wait a little bit more, and it still hasn't really broken my optimized band, as you see. So technically, I wouldn't be taking that squeeze yet. But if you're using normal Bollinger bands that aren't optimized the way I like to optimize them, that don't take into account PF factors, and don't take into account the number of orders you've taken, that don't take into account all the variables you enter, then you could be going into this squeeze. But I technically I like to have about 2 breaks below my optimized line, which is this green line. So let's wait a little bit. So you can see now how the indicator here has gone from squeeze to red. So we've basically taken this trade. I mean, you could have taken it here, basically taken a short trade. And we're seeing some action there, probably already a little bit of profit. Let's wait a little bit more. So you can see here how it's progressing very slowly, but it's getting there. So we've already got a, profit going on here. What's interesting to note is when after a squeeze, if you see the bands, you see the band is turning down here and it's turning up here. Well, that's a very good sign. That's usually what you want, because if you have, let's say this band would be going down here, okay, and not following this band, that would not be as nice, okay. So here we're almost getting a profit point. I haven't calculated how many pips I've made, but it's a large position, so I don't need to stay too long. Okay, here we are, 7 minutes after the FOMC member Rosenberg spoke, and as you can see, this is not a too shabby trade being made right now. That's my English expression from England. Nice. So we're preparing, I don't know, we're going to take, so I did this manually. What I want to show you is, so this is a squeeze break, okay? I have a module called Squeeze Break that does exactly that. You can see here it's got the Bollinger Bands, the DeMarca trigger, and the Keltner bands built in. So I would leave these as normal. The only thing you would need to change is the confirmation on bars, and you can put an ATR stop in there, you can put take profit in there. It's quite good. And this expert called Squeeze Break, I am not selling. It's mine. I use it a lot because it's my pet peeve. It's built in the scalper, okay? But since the scalper self-optimizes, I prefer to have 1 or 2 bars, and sometimes the self-optimization doesn't do exactly what I want. So I got this separate module made, which I will give away to anybody who buys my products, okay? Even if you subscribe to my Signal, I will give away my Renko, and I will give away how to set up Renko charts, and I will give away my Squeeze Break module with a little bit more explanation on how to use it. So you can see you can make a lot of money on squeezes. I love to do them manually, but let's say I'm not here, or actually I leave the module on most of the time, because you can't always be staring at 5-minute charts, to be honest. So here, look at this trade. So let's say we did the classic one here. We would have taken it here. You can see that this signal, in any case, I would have taken a trade here, because this is a Renko signal, okay? This is based on Renko. So Renko is already telling me to sell here. So I would have taken a little position here, okay? Then I have the squeeze break at 20 and 2, which is a Bollinger squeeze break. You could have taken another one here. Then you have my optimized bands squeeze break down here, okay? You can see the black box came in. Black box came in and bought, made a few pips on the scalper. If you have that tight on 5 minutes, you would have made a few pips on the opposite direction. Really confusing your broker, which I love to do. So basically you've got a short going on here, you do a long here, take a few pips, go out, and somebody was telling me last night he appreciated the scalper a lot for this quick in and outs. And that's the point. Your broker doesn't need to know what you're doing. Okay, if you advertise it way ahead by putting in pending orders, you know, it's pretty easy for the broker to figure out. Now you, with all my modules and stuff, good luck, guys, trying to figure out what I'm doing. Nobody understands what I'm doing. The only thing I see is positive results. So, scalper going. My three really, after 30 years, are three things you need to simplify things, as Einstein said. Three things you need: Renko, you need the black box, which I have 150 videos on the black box. I have a lot of videos on Renko for trend, and you need a squeeze. You need to take advantages of squeeze, because that's where you can make a hell of a lot of money. Okay, so you put these three things together, and the people who call me a scammer, well, you know, bad karma to you, because I'm really giving away 30 years of experience. I've looked at everything. You can ask me about any indicator: Ishimoku, square waves, any indicator, stochastics, divergence, you know, the latest square wave methods, the peak to trough, the resistance method, the pivot method. Pivot's still actually quite good. I started with pivot points. I've looked at everything. So anybody who says, you know, I don't know what I'm talking about, and I went to university, I did a thesis on this stuff, okay? So, I have an MBA. So I've been looking at this for a long time. And, you know, after all this, what it comes down to is a real keen understanding of Bollinger. You can read his book, Bollinger by Bollinger. Bollinger Bands by Bollinger. And a keen understanding of Renko, and I haven't really found any books on Renko, but there's so much stuff on the internet, and it's fairly easy to understand. A lot of the Japanese candle art is very good. Ishimoku clouds, if I pronounce it wrong, sorry to my Japanese friends. Japanese have done fantastic work on graphics, and you don't need you know, fundamentals and things like that if you're doing currencies, because as I said, currencies, when you short a currency, you're still earning. When you short the euro, you're earning dollars. Okay, when you're long the euro, you're long euro. So you always got something. If you short a stock, goodbye. If it doesn't go down, you've lost everything. So I love currencies, and currencies tend to trade in one way or another. They're much better direction. I mean, some of the stuff doesn't work very well in the Dow Jones, for instance, or the S&P. And then some of the Renko can give you a lot of chop. So here it is all, another video from Olivier. Have a look at my products. Here they are. You have my signal, which is up 19% in actually 3 weeks, because it started on Friday, okay? And I'm just getting that going. You have my scalper. I talk a lot about it. The scalper is my more sophisticated, self-optimizing, and you have my basic black box model, $38. I think anybody can start trading with that automatically. It's bulletproof. The Genuity scalper has, I talked to a client last night, or a client friend, who has a very large account and loves using the scalper because it confuses the broker, going in and out, in and out, in and out quite a lot. So a lot of people don't understand that, and a lot of people don't understand it's 4 bots in one. You don't have to use all 4 modules, okay? But I've talked about that before. So good luck, and see you, and happy trading.